Yeah, I saw the clip team, Cheryl, I think it was, clipped.
I did see that as well.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. All right, before we get into the absolute shit show of domestic news, and then later we'll get into the very real and not at all a shit show geopolitical news. Um, we have gay certification. We're certifying gays now. That's a story that we're doing this morning.
It's about damn time.
By we, I mean California. Yeah, we're putting gays on lists again.
Yes.
What a time!
A gay registry.
We have a gay registry. What a time to be alive. Before we get into all of the news, we're going to talk about our great sponsors. And first up, we've got Rattlesnake Meats. You've been sold a lie that food should be cheap. The grocery store chicken and beef are fine. Well, they're not. At Rattlesnake, they raise protein the right way. Pasture-raised, 21-day aged beef and premium pasture-raised chicken with no subsidies, no shortcuts. It's not cheap to produce good, high-quality meat. Shouldn't be cheap to eat. Bite back and think differently about your protein. Visit rattlesnakemeats.com/Badlands, promo code Badlands, and you can get an order sent by Monday or Tuesday. Ships all to all lower 48 states, and shipping is included in your order. If you want to learn more about the Rattlesnake Meats guys, head over to America First Stories. And as a reminder, if you go to rumble.com/Badlands Media, you will find the playlists. And on the playlist, you can find any of our shows. And just that show, America First Stories, is no exception. Episode 11 is Rattlesnake Meats. One more time, rattlesnakemeats.com/Badlands. And it's such a great point that, it costs to raise good, high quality meat. There's a lot of shortcuts in the animal agriculture industry by the big ag producers. And to be able to provide high quality protein is not a cheap endeavor. And
and again, I think we live in, I would argue, the most highly regulated economy in the world. Which really means we live in the most socialist economy in the world, because regulation is really just the government. Ultimately, in practice, it's just the government picking winners and losers.
100%.
And so and preventing more players from coming into the marketplace, and competition driving down costs for the consumer. So I think the more that we can unwind that and abolish these alphabet agencies, that'll be good for the producers and for the consumers.
And it's something where the power over that really is in the individual purchasing decisions.
Yes.
A lot of people think they don't have choices, right? You just have to go to the grocery store and you get whatever you get in terms of what meat is there. And yeah, there's some organic options, but they're priced a little too high. So I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's negligible, and it's not actually. It's
I mean, look what happened to Bud Light when the whole thing with that
Goya on the opposite side of that.
Yeah, I mean, like look what happened with I forget what tranny's name is, doesn't matter, but
Dylan something.
Yeah, when they tried to make that a thing, it's like their stock, not only did their stock price crash, but their like next earnings report, like their sales had plummeted to the extent that Trump Jr. had to come out, Don Jr. had to come out and be like, guys, can you please start buying Bud Light again? Like these, I'm actually friends with some of the guys over there, and they really do need our support. And everyone was like, yeah, fuck that. We're not doing that. Like, we're done. I mean, and that is, again, that's sovereignty. Sovereignty is the ability to say no. Yeah. If you don't have the ability to say no in any situation, you don't have any sovereignty in that situation.
Yeah. And so that's also the test for consent. Right.
Yes.
Talk about that as well. If you don't have the right to say no, then you're not engaging in a consensual relationship.
And it's a painful lesson for corporate America, because they think that because of their size and their power, like their money, their reach, their resources, that they can just do whatever they want, and we just have to accept it, like you said. But that's not the case at all. We don't have to accept it, and we can tank their stock price, and we can tank their sales figures if we, like you said, use the power, our purchasing power, as a voting mechanism.
Yeah, vote with your dollars. That really is the key. And I mentioned Goya. It was a while ago. I feel like it was maybe 2021 that whole thing happened, or it might have even been in Trump's first term. But the left tried to cancel Goya for supporting President Trump, and the people in their individual purchasing decision went out and bought up all the Goya, everybody, in all the stores, and that was kind of what, the boycott versus a boycott. Bud Light, opposite side of that. We're not buying that anymore. If you're going to make us participate in this ritual that you're doing, this social change ritual, and I always go back. This show's turning into culture of change. I always go back to Larry Fink saying, you're not going to get this level. I'm paraphrasing. You're not going to get this level of coordinated behavior change unless you force behavior change. And this was talking about sustainability and net zero and the global, sustainable development goals, the change associated with each of those global sustainable development goals. And he said at BlackRock, we are forcing behavior change. And we all felt it. We all felt that. Remember in Target with the kids, the Pride Month displays and the children's trans enabling underwear and everything that was going on. That was a situation that we were put through. It was not organic. That was not people's demand determining what showed up in the stores. It was top down. And if you had a problem with it, you were a bigot. And that's what they mean by forced behavior. Now, we're conspiracy theorists for suggesting that the World Economic Forum and the UN that develop these frameworks and then drive them very intentionally down through every industry, every sector, and every geography in the world in a measurable way that we can all see with our own eyes and feel in our communities, because the curriculum shows up in the classroom and the products show up in the stores. We're conspiracy theorists for suggesting that that's centrally planned top-down change. But what's the alternative? There isn't one.
Yeah. And see, and this is why, we're getting way ahead of ourselves here, but this is, these kind of discussions are healthy. Again, this is a financial situation. Like when I say, I'm talking about the financial markets and BlackRock, Vanguard, these companies, these massive companies that manage particularly your pension funds and like your 401ks. They're the ones who, like, when you have a 401k at work, you're go check with your 401k. They're buying into the Vanguard fund. And that means that Vanguard gets voting power at all of the companies where they're putting money into the stocks. They're exercising your voting power at the shareholder conventions. So they can then use that. They can leverage that ownership to pick who's on the board of directors, to pick who the CEO is. And if the person doesn't do what they want, they replace them. That's how Larry Fink installed all these woke DEI people at these companies and basically started the whole top-down power thing. That's why I get excited and I'm happy when I hear Donald Trump say Qatar is going to invest $19 trillion in our economy, or hey, we're going to go, the Gulf states are going to give Iran $300 billion. I love that. You know why? Because the people who hate that are people like Larry Fink, the people who, the central bankers, the people who, JP Morgan, those people hate that because it is directly feeding in to what Russia's been doing, which is creating a new financial system that's outside of the control of the Western central banking system. I love that. I think the more that we can see that, I love tasting their tears when they talk about how awful this is and how evil this is and how we are supporting terrorism and we're supporting whatever. I don't give a shit about any of that. What I want to see is the Western central banking system brought to its knees and then ceremonially executed and then replaced with a new financial system that actually doesn't suppress the people.
Yeah. And when you say, I love that, my immediate thought is me too. It's decentralizing this entirely centrally controlled. When Larry Fink says we're forcing behavior change, what he means, in my opinion, based on what he said and what we see happen, how he's forcing behavior change is by holding those funds hostage to force corporations to engage in social change, to engage in net zero climate goals, to engage in DEI targets on hiring and leadership roles and all of these things. And that puts the companies in a pretty tough position because if they go head to head with Larry Fink and BlackRock, then they're putting their employees' pensions at risk. And that's been the dynamic. And I could hear, the ghost of not based Laura Loomer in my head, like, but it's Qatar. That's Qatari money. Are you saying it's Qatarlson? You're all just a bunch of Qatarlsons. Well, how is BlackRock better?
Yeah.
Like, is it because they don't like wear Middle Eastern clothes? Because I don't see how the dynamic that we've had with the institutions of the Western financial system has been a benefit to the people of the United States, certainly to the governments of the United States, certainly to the institutions, corporations, NGOs, this institutional public-private partnership that is our government. They've all benefited from the entirely centrally controlled global financial system, but the people certainly have not.
Yeah. And you know who doesn't support the whole tranny agenda? Qatar, Iran, Saudi Arabia. Like, you may not like their culture. I'm not suggesting that we import their culture, but those people probably aren't using their shareholder power to promote that kind of agenda. Now, I know people are going to say, well, wait a minute. Don't they want to destroy the West? Don't they want to, no, I actually think that's the Western central banking system that wants to do that. I think that's the Larry Finks of the world who actually want to do that. They're the ones who they have demonstrated absolute malice against the West and their desire to see America destroyed. And actually, these Gulf Arab states, which are trying to get off of oil and they're trying to find places to park their money, so their investment portfolios, which finance their entire government. I mean, these royals in Qatar and Saudi Arabia, they draw every month on a trust fund that gives each of them, like the thousands of them, various amounts of money from a trust fund. That's their salary. That's how they make money. It also finances their government. So they need a investment portfolio that continues to pump out that money every month. That's their priority, is making money. Their priority is not, social change or social engineering. It's like, where's the safe investment? Well, we saw with Bud Light that it's not a safe investment to promote trannies in America. So we're going to go the other way. We're going to promote, the value
toxic
system.
masculinity.
Yeah, toxic masculinity. It's like, I'm all for that. And you know what? Whatever y'all do in your own country, that's your business. I really don't give a shit.
You know who else likes toxic masculinity? Heterosexual women.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So, I mean, something to consider. Even in like, I think I've talked about this before. My, there's this trend of women reading kind of like, fantasy erotica type books. And I know some of these women, and they're leftists. Men are toxic and men are the problem and men are this and that. But when they're engaging in their reading, the men in those books are toxically masculine. I was in Europe with my best friend. She was listening to an audiobook, and I was like sitting in the other room, and I'm like, she listening to porn? What? And sure enough, yeah.
Yeah, it's like erotica literature, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look at the shows that are becoming popular now, like that Yellowstone show, and like all the shows that creator Taylor, what is his name, Sheridan, all the shows he's creating now that I think Paramount is churning out. It's
and
like
that again goes to the individual purchasing decision. It's where the market is.
Traditional values. It's like beautiful women, right? It's old school storytelling. It's like storytelling. You go back to ancient Greece, and like this is the way they told stories, the exact same way. And then look at who's responding to it. I mean, I've been told, I don't live in New York, but I've been told that if you go to New York and LA, all the hipsters are dressing up like cowboys now because of those shows. So it's like, even they are like recognizing that, hey, this is cool. And like, I like this, even though they're all a bunch of dorks who like have never probably spent
cowboys in Manhattan.
Yeah, like 1 minute in the woods. But that just goes to show how attractive this stuff is. It's natural human instinct to look at this and say, yeah, actually cowboys and ranchers are badass. And that's why the cowboy is become synonymous with the American spirit and is the most recognizable symbol in the world, according to Burning Bright. He says that it supplanted the samurai as the most recognizable icon in the world.
Yeah, we'll move on after this, but when I was in Italy, we went to this restaurant that was, I think it was called Roadhouse. It was Italian owned restaurant, but it was America themed. And it was like a combination of like a Texas Roadhouse and an Applebee's, but then there was like, you know, German Oktoberfest menu in it. It was like huge menu, burgers, fries, steaks, you know, large portion sizes, and all the wait staff were dressed up like cowboys.
Grumpy old madman 787 on or 7875 on YouTube says, so true. I owned 2 used bookstores. Best customers were women in the romance books. LOL. True. Ash. I worked at Rite Aid in high school for like a year or two. And every single night, like clockwork, whenever I would work, the women would come in and purchase the erotica literature, like the novels from it was like clockwork. Like
it's their dirty little
bottle of wine. It'd be a double stack of white wine and then like literature erotica. Yeah.
It's the feminist dirty little secret.
Yeah, right.
Is that in their innermost parts? They want you on that wall. They need you on that wall. All right, we're gonna move on because this went off the rails quick. Yeah. This show is also brought to you by SafePulse. Unexpected health emergencies don't wait. And with SafePulse, you can stay prepared. From trusted medications like amoxicillin, azithromycin, ivermectin, and hydroxychloroquine to the medical emergency kit designed to help support over 30 common illnesses, SafePulse makes it easy to stock up on essential health supplies. At SafePulse, keeping your family prepared has never been easier, and it's all delivered through a simple, streamlined ordering process at prices you can feel good about. Whether you need an emergency kit or you're stocking up on everyday essentials, now is the time to be ready for whatever comes your way. Visit badlandsmedia.tv/meds today and use promo code Badlands to save 20%. That's badlandsmedia.tv/meds, promo code Badlands. And I just ordered from them the other day. And looking forward to seeing how it comes. It was the first time I've ever ordered from those guys. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. All right. This feels like a good transition story. So we're going to start with gay certification because it just feels right. I
haven't even heard about this, so I very much look forward to learning about.
So I brought this up on Why We Vote last night, and Brian hadn't heard of it either. And we went around the horn, made a whole bunch of jokes, and then I did tell the audience I'm definitely bringing this to the Daily with Ghost tomorrow because everybody needs to know about this story. Inside California's gay certification program by everybody's favorite Christopher Rufo. Americans are used to handouts for favored groups, affirmative action and university admissions, corporate diversity initiatives, minority-owned contracting requirements, direct opportunities, resources, contracts. So we're giving them to supposedly oppressed groups such as women's, natives, Americans, blacks, Hispanics. In California, state Democrats have embraced another kind of favoritism, contracts for state-certified gay-owned business. The scheme operates through the California Public Utilities Commission, which regulates privately owned utility companies. They spent more than $43 billion in 2024 on contractors. We're talking about utility companies. So what they've done is they've said, we're going to prioritize giving these contracts to LGBT businesses. Although down here, it says Q plus. What I originally read was just LGBT, but I doubt they're split.
The plus is pedophilia, right? I mean, am I reading that correctly? Because everything else is represented there, like LGBTQ. I feel like that's the whole spectrum. So plus, they just don't want to put the P on there, so they put a plus.
I think there could be pedophiles in the Q, and also in all of the other categories, and in the hetero categories, because pedophiles don't discriminate by labels.
True. I always wonder what the difference between the Q and the G are, but we don't need to get into those semantics. I'm not really that interested. It's just a weird thing.
The gay.
The gay and the queer. It's like I thought those were the same thing.
But, no. The queers are the weighest ones in my experience. The people that identify as
you've already told me more than I care to hear.
Okay, hang on, because I have to find the rules. I thought I had the rules listed here, because there's a whole framework. And you have to be provably gay. So you have to have like gay medical records, or
so now we have a gay test and a gay registry. Okay.
Yes, you have to pass the gay. You have to pass the gay test to get on the gay registry, but there's a loophole. Goes. You just have to find 3 of your friends on official letterhead to affirm to attest. It's kind of like capital markets. It's like the same way that we get public trust in capital markets is that the very trusted audit firms attest to the veracity of the books, to the truthfulness of the financial statements. 3 of your friends can attest to the truthfulness of how gay you are. And then, but if you're proven to be lying, then you can go to prison, which is also pretty gay.
But God, there's so many jokes I want to make right now, but it's way too early in the morning to be that crass.
It is not.
But I can make some very, very funny jokes.
Please
just use your imagination for the joke that I was about to make, and just know that it was very funny. Now I'll tell you offline. It's too early in the morning, and we probably have kids.
All right, so you have to have copy of valid municipal or state license / certificate of marriage, civil union, or domestic partnership, or proof of domestic partnership health insurance utilization, or copy of a petition for same-sex partner hospital visitation rights, or evidence of completed or attempted parenting or family building efforts with same-sex partners, including surrogacy, adoption, or in vitro, or joint living arrangement paperwork naming same-sex partner and reference to same-sex partner status must be made in the document. Acceptable examples include property, deeds, titles, leases, or rental agreements, insurance, auto, health, home, phone, utility bills. So this could be roommate shit at this point. Wills, retirement plans, loans, line of credit, investment holdings, etc. Or one letter from the NGLCC affiliate chamber leader attesting to the LGBT status of each business owner. So if the gay chamber of commerce, I think that's what that is. If the gay chamber of commerce says you're gay, you're in. Or 3 letters of reference from your personal contacts on their company letterhead or stationery who have known owner for over 1 year and can vouch / attest to LGBT status. So G Money and Alpha both live in California, and I feel like the 3 contact thing, I feel like we could all get them on the gay registry. Or you're muted.
Chat said that we should get Burning Bright certified.
See, he's not in California.
Oh, okay. So we could get Alpha certified.
Yeah.
We could get Alpha certified, and we could probably get G Money certified.
Yeah, we could all write letters saying that J Treat is gay and we know he's gay, and then get money for his chiropractic business.
Oh, that's a good, yeah, dude. I mean, we should just openly discuss ways to defraud the California government on podcasts, and then they will be forced. Yeah, and really? Then they'll be forced to change their habits. Breaking news. I actually found a video of how this process might work. Let's play this.
Let's definitely play this.
This seems like it's very relevant.
You're gay now?
No, I'm not gay. I'm just celibate.
I mean, that sounds gay. I just want you to know that this is like the first conversation of like 3 conversations that leads to you being gay. Like, there's this, and then in a year, it's like, oh, I'm kind of want to get back out there, but I think I like guys. And then there's the big, oh, I'm a gay guy now.
You're gay for saying that.
I'm gay for saying that.
You know how I know you're gay?
How? How do you know I'm gay?
Because you macrameed yourself a pair of jean shorts.
You know, I know you're gay. You just told me you're not sleeping with women anymore.
You know how I know that you're gay?
How? Because you're gay and you can tell who other gay people are?
You know how I know you're gay?
How?
You like Coldplay. Oh, you're good.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't have to watch the whole thing. But yeah, you get the idea.
We're probably going to earn a strike for that, but I think it was worth it.
Yeah.
Okay, back to how we can all get. We're going through the criteria for the gay loan program so we can get on the gay certification. And this is such a terrible idea. 1 letter from a recognized LGBT organization attesting to the LGBT status, signed by the organization leader or board member. You don't even need the whole board. You just need 1 board member. of Gay Corp telling, attesting. You need 3 friends, but if it's a gay organization, then you only need 1. Physician carry letter evidencing gender reassignment or related medical procedures. So put your healthcare information on this government form for access to loans. Proof of media coverage stating your gayness. If the news called you gay, you're in. Or physician or attorney letter. Oh, hold on.
Bless you.
Excuse me. Thank you. Physician or attorney letter establish. So a lawyer can declare your gayness, and that works. Certificates, awards, or recognition of owners as outstanding members of the gay community, LGBT community, legal petition for name/gender change for transgender applicants. They've got a clearinghouse. They're going to clear who you are. They're going to put you on the registry, and then you will have access to their loan program and get priority, which sounds pretty gay.
Okay, so let me just explain something to the gays. The gays need to understand something. Like, let me explain how the internet works, okay? This system is going to be deeply abused, not only by fraudsters who are going to try to defraud the state of California to get access to all this money that they're offering, an opportunity. You're also going to have, like, the edgelords from 4chan coming out there and certifying all their friends as being gay. I mean, that's going to happen.
Armageddon just said this in the chat. Doesn't Badlands count as a news outlet? So everyone that we've called gay can qualify if they just submit.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to start writing articles about how people are gay, and then we can use that as kind of like they do it with Russiagate. Like Russiagate, they were like using the stories to open up investigations. Yes, we need to open up investigations into all the gay people, all the people that we think are gay online. The other thing that the gays need to understand, because I know they're probably doing this in earnest. They probably think they're doing something really great. Sometime in the future, whether it's 5 years from now or 50 years from now, somebody's going to come along who doesn't like gay people, and they're going to use this registry and weaponize it against you and go after all of you for being gay. I mean, this is like Hitler 101, right? I mean, people who read the history of Hitler understand that it's like when you start putting people on lists, that's going to be turned into something that is bad. I mean,
we don't have to go back to Hitler. I feel like we can go back to the AIDS epidemic in California, and putting gays on lists was a feature.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. I just used Hitler because that's like the meme. That's the meme is just like, yeah. But I mean, it's how do they not understand that this is going to blow up in their faces? This is not going to go the way that you think it's going to go.
And you just have to strip it down to the first principle. Do we want the government to have this kind of power? And honestly, this is not a line for you and I to hold. This is a line for the LGBTQ. This is a line for the LGBs to hold. That no, we're not going back to having the government keep a registry of who's gay and who's not, because you're 100% correct. That information will be used, can and will be used against you. Maybe not in a court of law, but certainly by the government at some point. Oh boy. Starting off strong. I said as a joke this morning that you and I were going to make gay jokes for 30 minutes, but guess it wasn't a joke. All right. Next up. Oh, wait, you're muted again. Is it on my side?
But no, I muted myself to make sure to background noise and get in. I actually have another video that I think we need to watch really quickly. Okay. It's a very short one.
Okay.
Thank you for seeing us, Mr. Johnson. We were hoping that maybe you have some kind of key that can help us with our disease.
You boys both have the virus? Are you sure?
We're not just sure. We're HIV positive. Will you stop it with that? What part of this is funny to you?
Kyle, we need to try to find
out.
What
part of being infected with a deadly disease do you find funny?
I don't think it's funny, Kyle.
Then stop saying you're not just sure you're HIV positive. This isn't funny, AIDS isn't funny, dying isn't funny, so shut the fuck up.
Well, excuse me, Kyle, for trying to keep some optimism, you know? Sometimes when things seem their darkest, you just need to try and stay HIV positive. But if you want to be so HIV negative all the time...
Knock it off, right now!
Kyle needs to chill out. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, and this is actually the whole tone here is great for the geopolitics segment because about being whimsical and bringing levity to the world. So we will revisit that concept here in the geopolitical segment.
And you have to. Honestly, to keep, I think that's a feature of Badlands, is to keep your sanity in this information environment where everybody is lying to us all the time. Sometimes there's some truth involved, right? There's partial truths that are used to shape narratives on every layer and every front. What?
I'm sorry. Deplorable Saltine just said, "Are we done talking about gays so I can unmute with my 50 kids in my Somali daycare?"
As if they could understand.
I don't know if they're being serious or not, but that is funny.
I think they're probably not being serious, but that was hilarious. Yeah.
I mean, there are probably Somali daycares that are listening right now, so we have to be very mindful of that.
Yeah, we treat the news with the level of respect it deserves, and that's not going to change because it's the amount of people outside of the Badlands community that just repeat headlines to my face is astounding, kind of shocking when you think about what we've been through over the past 11 years. Yesterday was the anniversary of President Trump coming down the escalator. So 11
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Yep.
Wow, you're absolutely right.
Yep, it's in my history update. So yeah, I was being serious. Okay.
You know what that means,
Get an
though.
IP trace and call in Tom Homan on the Somali daycare.
Okay, yeah. We need to get Saltine. We need to get. We need with
Hey,
calling all
send me a
anons.
DM.
We need to dock Saltine and figure out where this daycare is immediately. Start deporting these kids yesterday. That also means that tomorrow is I guess it would be the 11-year anniversary. Yeah, the 11-year anniversary because it was 2 days after Trump announced I forget exactly which House resolution it was, but the House passed a resolution which originally was written as a pension fund for first responders. But then Mitch McConnell went back and adjusted the language of the text to be in support of the Trans-Pacific Partnership. So this was very subversive. Like on the face of it, it looked like we were doing something to help the pensioners, like the pension funds of first responders. But really what it was Congress validating and supporting the Trans-Pacific Partnership. And it was the Republicans who led the effort. It was the Republicans who voted yes on it. And Ron DeSantis voted yes, which is why I never trusted Ron DeSantis.
Yeah. Wise words. Yeah. Republicans are a big part of the problem across the board.
I mean, talk about being gay. I mean, being a Republican congressman is probably the gayest thing you can do.
Yeah, voting for the Trans-Pacific Partnership certainly qualifies you.
Yeah.
I think.
Yep.
I just had that. I don't know why. This should really be on the soundboard, but I had the Ice-T from an SVU clip where his son is like, "I have relationships with women and sex with men," and Ice-T says, "And I got news for you. That means you're gay." We need that on the soundboard. All right. So we're sticking with California.
Oh God.
And this story, I find, so I hate the idea of it. I think everybody involved in it should be rolled up entirely. Also, it's crazy how this went down. So yesterday morning, I was doing the radio show, and in the middle of the radio show, it broke that the FBI had foiled this plot for drone. This drone. They were going to send weaponized drones into the UFC event, and that was going to be a distraction to make everybody flee. And then they had snipers placed, and they were going to snipe the president. The idea of that, first of all, it sounds like something that would have been blamed on Iran, because drone swarms usually are blamed on Iran. But the idea of another attack on President Trump, all of these things are incredibly frustrating. But what bugged me about this is last night when I was putting together my brief take, the story wasn't even trending. It was just gone. It was done and dusted and over with. So in the morning, it was like we foiled a drone plot. In the afternoon, 2 California men have been charged in this foiled drone plot. We know exactly how it is. We have a magic suitcase of digital evidence that lays out the entire plot and all of their intentions and exactly what they were going to do. And thank God that this kid's mother called the police on him. She's so brave, because that allowed us to foil this plot. And within 4 days from the report, as I understand the story, from the report of the FBI getting wind of this to telling the people about it, and that we've made arrests and we know everything is happening, right? We know the whole thing, to this being out of the public mind entirely and nobody even cares, was about 8 hours.
Yeah. Were these men Ukrainian by any chance? Because there's been a lot of Ukrainian drone stories in the news the past year. So I'm just wondering.
I heard one of them was an illegal alien. Brian Omar Roa.
That sounds Ukrainian.
And Michael Allen Thomas. No, it sounds they're there. It's
always the three. Well, that guy on the right looks a little Ukrainian. I'm a little suspect of the guy on the right. He looks like he could be Eastern European. Also, I mean, with that facial hair, put him on the gay registry immediately.
We are reporting about his gayness, so he qualifies.
Yes, he definitely qualifies for the gay registry. Yeah, I mean,
which one do you think is the Fed? Who entrapped who here?
I mean, the guy on the right with that facial hair. I mean, you have to.
He got hoodwinked.
He looks like a Spanish pirate from the 16th century. I mean, that is. It doesn't get much gayer than that.
It's the hat. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say the guy on the left is the Fed, and the guy on the right is the one that got hoodwinked.
Yeah, that probably is accurate. That probably is accurate. Well, as long as we're talking about drone attacks, we should share this post, because just to tip off Cash Patel. Cash, if you're looking for leads on this, share my screen, because Laura Loomer yesterday posted this. We have a massive munitions crisis now, and Islamic enemies and our adversaries all around the world are well aware of that. We are sitting duck to the next 9/11. Part of me thinks the next 9/11 will be done with drones. That feels like a threat. I mean, given all the context of all the other posts that Laura's been putting out and her friends have been putting out about how absolutely despondent they are over this Iran deal, you got to wonder, is she threatening us that her cohorts are going to be conducting drone strikes in America, to false flag us into another forever war. So I'm just putting it out there. I'm not accusing her of anything. I'm just saying we should look into this. Maybe those two fellows got their drones from Laura Loomer.
She really does keep talking about America being attacked.
Oh, she's been putting this out forever. She's like, 9/11's coming. 9/11's coming. It's coming, guys. Watch out.
Yeah. And, knowing what we know about 9/11.
Yeah.
That's a little bit disconcerting.
Very.
Okay. So someone in the chat pointed out, it's an excellent point. We got 3 names for both of these guys. Brian Omar Roa, Michael Allen Thomas, both residents of Riverside County, were arrested for their alleged roles in the disrupted plot. According to the Knox County Sheriff's Office, both men have been charged with conspiracy to commit murder and made their initial court appearances in Monday. According to a federal complaint, they were brought to the attention by their Ohio conspirator, 19-year-old Tyson C. Proper. That's the kid, and he does not look like 19. I don't think they have his picture in here. I'll see.
Well, he's probably 19 by legal immigrant standards, because they put 30-year-old men.
This kid is a American, and This is the kid whose mom allegedly found out about the plot and called the police, and that's how they all found out about the plot.
Did she find a Reaper drone under his bed? Because you got to hate when they find Reaper drones under your bed.
It's unfortunate. You got to hide those better. Let me see if I can find. Here we go. This is what this kid looks like. This is the 19-year-old whose mom.
I mean, look, to be fair, I have a very good friend who at 19 years old in college was completely bald, like he was 45 years old. So
this
it
guy
does happen. Male pattern baldness is a thing. But that guy looks like he's 40. So
yeah, he could pass.
Yeah.
So
this is what 15-year-olds look like now, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, don't you conspiracy theorists. Of course he's a 19-year-old kid that just got, swept up. Federal investigators recovered screenshots from Proper's Apple iPhone detailing explicit plans shared among a group of approximately 19 individuals using encrypted applications like Signal and Simplex. The plot specifically targeted UFC Freedom 250 on June 14th, 2026. So, first of all, if there is truth to this and these guys really were going to do this thing, then I want, where are the rest of the 19? Roll them all up. They were all feds.
It would have been better if it was 17 of them, because then we could do a decode. But
we could decode that for sure. So believe what you can about that story. Anybody tries to kill President Trump again, I think they should have a quick trial and a quick resolution about that. I'm over it. All right. Speaking of terrorists, we have this story from the DOJ yesterday. 15 members of Direct Action Minnesota, a Minneapolis-based direct action group with the Antifa ties, were indicted in Minnesota yesterday.
Again, why not 17? Why couldn't it be 17?
I know. I feel like the writers are slipping. Charges include conspiracy to impede or injure a federal officer, interstate stalking, interstate threat, solicitation to commit a crime of violence, and assaults on federal officers. Today, the Justice Department announced that 15 members, et cetera, et cetera. We just read all that. Here's the quote from Todd Blanche. As alleged,
excuse me, Ash, before we get into the meat and potatoes here, can we just note that at the very top in the first sentence, it says that the Direct Action Minnesota, their acronym is DAMN, like DAMNN. I mean, this has got to be a meme. This has got to be a meme. There's no way that is actually like a real. I mean, who at the State Department came up with this NGO?
Yeah,
we're having way too much fun
NGO.
today.
So as an NGO, you name yourself.
Yeah, but we're having way too much fun today. This is what happens when Brian leaves us to do the news. We're just going to make fun of literally everything and not get anything accomplished.
Yeah. Well, we're still giving news. We're giving news out. We're on story 3 of my very long list of stories, so we should probably move a little bit faster, but fine. As alleged, these defendants, which include members of Antifa groups, engaged in an unrelenting campaign of harassment and violence targeting federal and local law enforcement. Their actions created a dangerous environment that threatened not only their intended targets, but the community as a whole. These arrests demonstrate the department's commitment to law and order, stopping organized political violence in Minneapolis and beyond. Everybody will remember this, right? There were a couple people that were killed up there, and the circumstances of those. There was the chick that was shot while she was trying to drive over a police officer. There was the other guy that, brought a gun that has a history of backfiring. And then those two people that were interfering with lawful detainment operations by ICE, those two people were lionized and created into heroes. We thought we might be getting some gay version of George Floyd again. We might still, though, Ghost, because what happened after this indictment came down is, hold for processing, this.
Fuck you! You fucking fascist!
Language.
Fuck you!
Yeah, sorry. There's a lot of this happening in our clips today.
Yeah. Earmuffs for the Somalis.
Yeah, earmuff for the Somali children, please.
Fuck you! Fuck you! You fucking fascist!
So what are we looking at here?
So this is outside the detention center after the indictments came down. So the indictments that we just read.
This is clearly like a State Department USAID funded situation, it seems like.
I don't know. I think a lot of these people are legit crazy at this point, and they are the anti-ICE people, right? And particularly in Minnesota, it's kind of ground zero.
That's
for this,
true.
for the
That's
whole
true.
of this, mass deportation. We've seen a lot of Minnesota. We've seen a lot of the crazies, and a lot of the crazies in Colorado have migrated to Minnesota as well. That's where what was her name?
This is how
Nay Good.
radicalization does work this way. Like
Pretty and
you put
Good.
operatives in
Remember?
there and then you radicalize the locals. Yeah.
That's what their names were, Pretty and Good, because there were a ton of jokes about that were super irreverent because they both died. However, they were hilarious. But yeah, so Renee Good, she had Colorado background and ended up obstructing ICE. But yeah, so they rioted. It's hilarious because they're essentially doing what they're doing the same conduct as was in the indictment. So a lot of these people should therefore also be indicted, I think.
I mean, how is that not terrorism? They're attacking a detention center.
They're attacking justice itself, Ghost.
Yeah. I mean, regardless of what happened, like what the circumstances are behind the arrest, and if you want to argue that the arrests are unlawful or whatever, like whatever their arguments are, okay, adjudicate that in court. Like that's adjudicated in court. Like going and violently attacking the place where they're being held, while yelling and screaming and calling them fascists, like actually you're actually the fascist by by the standard, I believe. This is, I mean, irony, but also very sad.
Very, very, very sad. So we're gonna go kind of lightning round through headlines now. We didn't even get to the View, JD Vance on the View yet. I don't know how. Okay. I'm sure you probably have a full hour of geopolitics.
Well, I mean, we did yesterday. I got a lot of geopolitics yesterday. Let's do the View with JD. Do a lightning round, and then we'll do the
light round of the headlines. We'll do JB, and then we'll go. Yeah. So so this is so everybody knows that I'm particularly interested in the SPLC story because false allegations of racism are incredibly detrimental. Right. Don Jr. had the best joke of the day on this story yesterday. The SPLC boss funneled $1.2 million to her lover in the neo-Nazi group. The pair even had a joint bank account, and Don Jr. said, language warning, it's not my language, it's Don Jr.'s, said, so the SPLC was literally fucking fascism.
I saw the picture of this woman in the Confederate flag like floating around, or I'm sorry, the Nazi flag floating around, and
hot.
I did not realize like what the context of the story is because I just like I wasn't tracking this. That is so funny. So she had a lover. She worked for the SPLC. Not only was she sending them money, but she had a lover.
Yeah, so he's allegedly one of the ones that infiltrated. So, not a real Nazi, according to the story we're being told.
One of the fake Nazis then.
Fake Nazi, yeah. Okay. Undercover fake Nazi.
Yeah. And, one of the State Department created Nazis. Got it.
Yeah, that's right. Which is most of the Nazis, I think. Most of the active on the ground Nazis.
Most of everything. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then
so
we have
he was the Fed.
Just the state of absolutely everything right now. The judge who had sex in the courthouse and attended a political event agrees.
Wait, what?
Federal judge,
not the lead story.
Federal judge who was disciplined after investigation found that she had sex with a police officer in her chambers. In the chambers. It wasn't like it was on the bench or something.
Okay. Well, I guess that goes to the erotica literature discussion we had earlier.
Yeah, probably. Right, this is her dirty little secret. She's opposed to all cops are bastards, but in the chambers, she's banging the cop. Attended a partisan event and then lied when confronted with the allegations. Has recused herself in a fight over Georgia election records after the U.S. Department of Justice raised questions about her ability to be impartial. Justice Department sought to remove U.S. District Judge Eleanor Ross from the case, citing her reported attendance at a Fannie Willis event. Ross filed her order Tuesday, recusing herself, saying that she was doing so out of abundance of caution for the perception of potential bias. I appreciate that line because they never do that, and the perception of impropriety can be as detrimental to public trust as impropriety itself. That's at least in the matter of public trust in capital markets. We don't apply that to government at all. We should, because it's a principle. It's a foundational principle of public trust, but we don't. But we should.
Yeah. Well, I need to point out, Jetpack Jones had all-time comment here. So as Ashe was saying, heterosexual females love toxic masculinity.
Yeah,
So,
that's my point.
Yeah.
She's fighting Trump and like standing up for, all of the things. She is the resistance. Toxic masculinity is, we're not going to take it anymore, except in chambers. We're going to take it real good.
I feel like we're firing all cylinders today. I feel like today the team is really working well together. There's a lot of synergy between us in the chat today. I love it.
She liked banging that gavel. Makes sense. Okay. All right. Trump used the Defense Authorization Act to boost weapons manufacturing for the Iran war. This is kind of a bit of a crossover. I don't know if you had this story.
I didn't, but let's go with it.
So he invoked the DAA to address constraints in the production of munitions, according to a presidential memo released on Tuesday. The war against Iran has highlighted concerns over munitions stockpiles. The memo delegates Defense Secretary to use the Defense Production Act, which can be used to jumpstart production of key items. The memo says the mechanism is warranted because fragile supply chains and production bottlenecks may impair the stability for the U.S. to expand the availability of munitions, missiles, and equipment required for national defense. So the Iran connection is that this Iran thing has depleted our stockpiles. But the answer here seems to be diversifying the supply chain and defense, which I think is a good thing. That's been, kind of essentially very centrally managed thing for a long time. My initial reaction to this story was that the only person I had heard talk about, and you probably know when it was, I don't know exactly when it was, but I know I in passing, because I know it's wretched desert, I don't pay attention, but Benjamin Netanyahu was talking about the stockpiles of munitions being down because of the war in Iran. And then I saw this news. So wondering if you had any take on that.
No, I mean, I missed this specific one. It looks like it was done on June 11th. Citing the limited production. Keep going. I'm looking into something real quick.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna do a round of the stories because I've got just 2 left before we get to the View.
Cool.
All right. So we have this sad plane crash. We're getting sad news now. So we're going sad, or saddest on the next 3 stories. So this was a skydiving group. There was 11 skydivers and the pilot, and they were killed in a plane crash, which is very sad. Rest in peace. We hate it. We hate it when that kind of stuff happens. Then I saw this one, and I've been skydiving, and honestly, those planes are so like rickety and it's not terribly surprising. One that fit 11 people. I mean, when I went skydiving, me and my sister-in-law and the 2 guys that were tandem for us were like shoved in the back compartment of this plane. It was budget skydiving. It probably wasn't the best idea, but I was in my 20s. You do stupid shit when you're in your 20s. Sure. Okay, so then there's this story. Another woman falls to her death at Brazilian tourist attraction after plunging 100 feet during cave rappelling excursion. What is going on with this? So we saw that bungee jumping thing, right? You saw that story of the woman.
I did. Yeah, it was really sad. That seemed outrageous that happened.
Outrageous. Another one. She was fully equipped with safety gear, including helmets, gloves, and other protected equipment as she moved along the route. According to accounts given to police, the fall occurred as she applied insect repellent to her body while standing on the incline. Her foot reportedly slipped when she lifted one leg, causing her to lose balance and fall towards a steep drop. But I thought she was strapped in. Like if you're rappelling, you're connected to the things in the rock, aren't you? Or to whatever is up top. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm confusing it with rock climbing.
No, I think you're right. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. But yeah, I mean, we need a little bit more context to analyze it. But man, I mean, either way, sad. Yeah,
very sad. Yeah, very, very sad. So sad. Skydiver plane crash. Sadder, another meaningless death in, sport in Brazil, which, guys, if you're going to Brazil, choose reputable tour companies. Is the best advice I would give you. Saddest is the ladies of the View. And I have a few clips here.
The lack of clean water, the lack of medical attention, the lack of education. I would urge you as a Christian and as a father to visit those detention centers where the children are being held and make sure that the conditions are up to the values that we hold in this country.
So you guys have thrown a lot at me, and I see we got 30 seconds left here. But let me say, number one,
President, you can go long.
I'd like to pick up on this theme because I think it's really important. We do have to strike a balance, of course, between enforcing our laws. We don't want to dehumanize people. That is the balance that, look, law enforcement, what I'd say about this, law enforcement is always inherently not a very pretty process, especially when you're dealing sometimes with violent people, with people who are resisting arrest. Some of the people that I've been told by the media were completely peaceful, had never violated any laws. You actually look into the record and you find out that those people were actually being violent, or they did have a criminal record. They had a sex trafficking conviction.
Don't have criminal records. So the majority of people that ICE is rounding up and taking out of their home from their families, they're separating families. They're using children as bait.
But
the majority are not criminal.
But can I respond
breaking
to
the
that?
law, though.
Let me just say this. Okay.
You're breaking the law. If you're here unlawfully, you're breaking the law.
Yeah.
You talk about the children. Here's what I'd say. Do we know that during the last administration, we had tens of thousands of children who were sex trafficked by the cartels, who were brought into our country in profoundly dangerous and predatory conditions?
Let's talk about this administration.
But here's the point. Unless you enforce the border, you invite that kind of conduct. You think that our immigration policies are inhumane based on the reporting of one person with a political bias. What I'm telling you is that it's inhumane to allow cartels to sex traffic people across our border. And by the way,
hold on, please hold on.
I appreciate that. We're going to get you back, Anna.
We're coming. We're
All right, so they're going to go to a break. Your reaction, Ghost, and then we're going to hit a sponsor.
I mean, it's always good to bring this stuff to the mainstream audiences. I mean, I don't even know who watches The View at this point. Who is actually consuming this material outside of people.
The same women reading the erotica literature.
That's probably true. There you go. Yeah. I mean, or the people just making memes online about it. But yeah, I mean, this is the direct path thinking that I've been talking about for a while now. Like at the GARTs, I'll mention this on stage. Like, how do you combat these narratives that have evolved? Well, when it comes to, for example, abortion, I'm like, just play the video of somebody getting an abortion and then ask somebody supporting it, so abortion, to defend what they're doing in the screen. They can't defend it. That's why they don't want anyone to see it. And then when it comes to this, it's like, yeah, well, why are you cool with trafficking kids and women across borders? There's no way to defend that. That is what it is. Ultimately, it's human trafficking.
But I want to talk about this administration. I bet you do. Because this administration is dealing with the mess that was brought in by the other administration, and you want all those people to stay because you think that that's your source of power, and that's the bottom line for these hags.
Yeah, and so even under, I was thinking about this earlier this morning. So because there's a lot of discussion about the immigration thing happening, and I've seen it on other platforms about Trump's take on immigration and a lot of these college students, university students being brought in from overseas, and how that needs to be addressed. And it's even under the immigration is immigration. So if somebody wants to come to this country because they see it as a great opportunity and they like our culture and they want to assimilate, God bless them. Melania Trump being an example, right? God bless them. But when you turn it into an institution, when you turn it into an industry, and it becomes on an industrial scale where you're moving people into the country, even under the most humane conditions and the most pleasant conditions, where it's very comfortable for the people being brought over, it's still human trafficking. That is still human trafficking, and it has to be called that at all times. You're trafficking humans in mass to a new location from point A to point B. That's human trafficking. It should always be referred to human trafficking. And these NGOs, open societies that does this, they call it should be charged with human trafficking. That's how it should be handled.
Catholic charities.
Yes.
Yep.
All of them. I don't care. You bleeding heart evangelicals who are bringing these people over from Syria and stuff. All of you should be charged with human trafficking. I don't care
Giving
how pleasant you are as a person. You're a human trafficker.
Giving women Plan B before they enter the Darien Gap because there's a solid chance they're going to get raped. This is the system that these women of The View are enabling. All right, before we listen to the next clip, which is probably my favorite one of The View interview, we're going to talk about CB Distillery. When was the last time you woke up actually feeling rested or got through a day without feeling totally stressed out? Yeah. Over 50% of adults say they'd feel better if they got more sleep, and stress is often the biggest barrier. That's why CBD from CB Distillery makes so much sense. CB Distillery has natural solutions for sleep and stress that can help break that vicious stress sleep cycle. And everything from CB Distillery is premium high quality, third-party tested, and free from artificial dyes or fillers. They're the source I trust to do and so do 2 million other happy customers. You can shop by benefit, whether you want better sleep, less stress, improved focus, pain relief after workouts, even something for your pets. It's all right there. Share. So I like the Om kind of just chills you out. I really enjoy. I'm also a big gummy consumer. Like I prefer to take I'm like a 12-year-old. I prefer to take my vitamins, and
that's like my kids get their vitamins, like the little gummy vitamins.
Yeah, no, that's me too. Like I do.
They ask for it like every night. They're like, "Can we have a gummy?" Like at dinner time. So,
yeah. I'm a huge gummy consumer of vitamins. I'd much rather eat a gummy than swallow a pill. And so I definitely like that about CB Distillery. If you are ready to start sleeping better, stressing less, and just feeling good again, check out CB Distillery. Visit cbdistillery.com and use our code Badlands for 25% off. That's a big discount, guys. Take advantage of it. That's cbdistillery.com, code Badlands, cbdistillery.com. Specific product availability depends on individual state regulations. And that's what CB Distillery has been a longtime sponsor of Badlands, and we're big fans. All right.
Yeah. Steve Craw in the chat just pointed out Flintstone vitamins too. Like that's a throwback.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they make those anymore, but like that's what we did as a kid.
Those would hold up because I think they switched.
You had to chew those though. So like we were a little harder. Like back in the day, we were a little tougher than today's generation because they get the soft gummies. We had to chew our vitamins, the Flintstone gummies. So we're just a step above, a little more hardcore than today's youth.
And also they kind of tasted like candy. And so, you know,
well, they had a little bit of like a medicine taste, but it was definitely bearable.
Yeah.
Definitely bearable.
Remember Dimetap?
Yeah.
Dimetap was good medicine.
I don't even know if they make that anymore, but
they probably made it taste bad because it tasted too good for kids back then. All right, back. It's weird. It was a weird detour.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It was good. It needed to happen. All right. So here, Whoopi is going for the Trump is a big old racist angle.
And you were talking about people. What did Black people do to this administration that has allowed it to really stigmatize folks of color? And you know how hard it is. You have folks of color in your family.
Sure.
So when you see, things, the Emmett Till stuff coming down, or them doing all kinds of removal of information of Black heroes, how does that sit with you?
Well, what exactly are you talking about, Whoopi? Because you just I know Emmett Till was the kid. No.
You hear how the audience, and first of all, I want to go back and look at her facial expression right here. Right here. How does that fit with you? That Trump is a big old racist. I'm sorry, that facial expression looks like she does not believe the words that are coming out of her mouth.
Yeah.
Sure. And then the audience, when he's like, what exactly are you talking about? She's talking about removing Black heroes. She's talking about, what this administration is doing. And I think what she's actually talking about is, remember, Michelle Obama in 2007 or 2008 during that campaign said Barack is going to change what you celebrate. I'm paraphrasing from memory from 18 years ago, so a little grace. Brock is going to change what you celebrate. He's going to change what we, what our traditions are. We're going to transform the history. It's going to change our history. And they did. They did. We saw the DEI infused museum exhibits. We saw the statues be ripped down, and then others. There's a fucking statue. Sorry. There's a statue of George Floyd, right? As if that guy is some sort of hero. Guy that died of a fentanyl overdose, was caught in the commission of a crime, and previously had held a pregnant woman at gunpoint, and the gun was pointed at her belly. And they lionized him and put a statue up. Is that what she's talking about? I don't know, because she doesn't say, because she's super vague, and that's how JD Vance responds.
Well, what exactly are you talking about, Whoopi? Because you just I know Emmett Till was
and the audience groans because they want to pretend like they totally know what she's talking about, because they probably do, because they watch this show, which is garbage.
No, I want to know what she's.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
Actual point.
So in a lot of the museums, there's so many. Where they're taking down the actual history that happened in this country. Slavery happened. All kinds of stuff happened. And it seems that it has been very easy for this administration to remove that, and also to denigrate Black folks who have worked their behinds off to get this American dream. How do you, I mean, you know better.
So Sonny, that was actually a very helpful intervention, because I think the story you're talking about is where, allegedly the administration is holding back the appointments of people based on skin color. I've seen this story.
I'm talking about a host of things. I'm talking about Black history getting erased from public spaces. Black voter districts are being dismantled. Black leaders are being sidelined from our ranks. Where do Americans of color fit in this?
Black voting districts are being dismantled. What she's, I think, talking about is Louisiana, where they alleged that the Voting Rights Act, Section 2, required them to have a second Black district. And the Supreme Court went all the way to the Supreme Court, and they said, actually, no, that's not what it says. You can't actually discriminate based on skin color, whether you're doing it to fight discrimination based on skin color or not. You can't do that. And she's claiming that the administration is dismantling Black voter districts. That's a straight up lie.
This vision, because it doesn't seem like we fit.
I think, Sonny, my view,
And if I may, since October of last year, there's been something like 6,668 refugees allowed into the country.
Whoa. Did she just say 666?
6,668.
Wow. Okay.
Decode that.
That's definitely. I mean, that's some Luciferian stuff right there.
I mean, it is The View.
I think that number was totally made up, and I think that was very intentional.
It was just a signal. She was signaling someone.
Yeah.
South Africans.
So first of all, I'm very skeptical of that number, because we have a lot of different immigration pathways in the United States of America. But let me just address
Kill the boy, kill the farmer. The white South Africans that are coming in are actual refugees who are facing murder if they stay in their country. But Anna Navarro is mad because they're white.
Point. Look, first of all, you asked the question, and maybe you don't believe this coming from me, but I think everybody is welcome in our political coalition. Frankly, even if you didn't vote for us, everybody is welcome in our country, so long as you're an American citizen with the duties and the legal obligations and rights to be here. But let me just give you an example of this. Okay, so you say that we're anti-minority or anti-Black.
No, I didn't say that. I asked. See?
Well, okay, fine. Be fair.
Don't start any stuff with me, man. Don't get me in trouble.
Is that how you heard it? Was she asking? Because the question her setup was, what did Black folks do to this administration? Sounds like an allegation couched as a question.
Yeah, I mean, these people are all super like you.
Liars.
I misinterpreted your question, but let me answer your actual question there. What I'm saying, I think, okay, look at Washington, D.C. One of the most democratic and one of the blackest, by share of population, blackest cities in the United States of America. has seen a radical decrease in violent crimes and sexual assaults and in murders. We have tried to take the crime issue seriously, in part because we believe everybody, whether you're black or white or rich or poor, deserves to live in a safe neighborhood.
Why does the crime? Where does the crime step in? This is not about crime. This is about
lost their jobs.
Rights. This is about human
Sonny,
rights.
What you're saying is
Black
we got to do more on the economy.
And Black history has been erased from public
Black
spaces.
history is not erased from public spaces.
You're an idiot.
When we get back to some very important news.
I'm telling you, we celebrate Black history. We celebrate all America.
Okay. Women. Giving women a bad name.
Yeah. So, I mean, by the way, JD Vance has been put out on like a media tour the past 48 hours.
He's pushing a book. And the reason I like this, he's got a book about his religion. It's I forget the name of it.
Okay.
But the reason that I pulled the clips from this and not from some other show is because they would not let him talk about the book. They peppered him with questions. He got like 90 seconds at the end of the interview to talk about his book.
Interesting.
And so we got into some of these things. So I'm going to do one more clip from this.
Okay.
I'm going to let you choose. We can either do the Epstein exchange or the Mohap exchange.
God, that's a good one. I mean, I'm interested in the Mohap just because of the view, but I'm gonna let you pick because you've seen them. I haven't seen either one. Which one's better?
Let's see here. Mohap is shorter. And we're pressed for time.
Let's do the Mohap.
So we're going to do Mohap. All right. Here we go.
The derogatory slur made about the former First Lady Michelle Obama, because I think it's important to address. And we won't dignify what was said by repeating it. Yeah. But you should.
Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America? Quoting Josh Hokett in the.
That was hilarious.
Look it up. And I think the reason that it's important is because for a long time, and the roots are in slavery, Black women have been slurred and made to feel that they were unattractive, made to feel that they were masculine, made to feel that they didn't have the femininity that a white woman would have. And so there's this intersectionality between racism and sexism that was on full display at the White House. The crowd laughed at.
No, stop, pause, hold the fuck on. The reason that people think that Michelle Obama is a man, and there are people that absolutely believe that Michelle Obama is a man, is not because of the racist history of Black women being dehumanized. It is because, first of all, Joan Rivers came out and straight up said it. Michelle is a man and everybody knows it. Also, there are videos of Michelle dancing where it appears as though she has a penis.
Yeah, and that was on Ellen DeGeneres.
On Ellen, and there was another one as well where maybe she was running down steps or something. But there is visual evidence and personal testimony that lends to this rumor that Michelle Obama has a penis. That is not the racist history of Black women being oppressed. That's not, there's this unfounded, baseless rumor that has no grounding that these people are just, Josh Hokett is just a racist. He's just a dirty, despicable racist putting racism on display at the White House. No, it's because Joan Rivers was kind of an oracle in Hollywood before she died. The fact that she said it made people's ears perk up. And then, of course, there's the videos where it looks like she has a penis. And so Sonny playing the race card, pulling in intersectionality yet again, and saying, oh, anybody that believes this must be a dirty, despicable racist with the history tying back to the history of the beginning of Black people. Seriously, lady, if you didn't have race baiting, you would have nothing to fucking talk about.
Yeah, that's true. And what's funny about this, if I can share my screen, is less than a day before, because this is from Monday, Trump landed in France at the G7 and shook Bridget Macron's hand. She talks about making this about race. I mean, Bridget Macron right now is suing Candace Owens for accusing her of being a man. Not only a man, but I believe also her husband's father. So anyway, let's watch this. he does like his like tug of war thing with her.
Oh yeah.
So everyone online's commenting like, what a weird way to shake a woman's hand. You know, of course, alluding to the allegations that she's not a woman. So this is not something unique to like Michelle Obama because she's black. This is unique to elites who are pushing transgenderism and are pushing this as like their mantra and like their rallying cry. And like, this is a beautiful thing. And many of them look like they're married to men. I mean, go look at Chuck Schumer's wife, right? I mean, all these people are married to people. I mean, Bill Gates' ex-wife. I mean, they all look like men. I don't know if they are, but they look like men. Way more so than Bridget Macron does, and they're all white.
Linda Gates is a woman.
Yeah, she probably is, but I'm just saying a lot of like the memes online are that Melinda Gates looks more masculine than Bill does. I mean, that's
So this is a really good point, Ghost. Why is it that if a black woman accuses a white woman of being a man, it is, you know, it's salacious, it's a potentially defamatory, but if a white man accuses a black woman of being a man, it's absolutely racist, tied back to the history of racism.
It's a good point. I mean, it's a solid point. Joan Rivers, by the way, contestant, a dear friend of Trump, contestant on The Apprentice.
Yeah.
So,
and many people believe that she was killed for what she said.
Oh, I think she was absolutely killed. She died in surgery like a few weeks later. She was going in, I believe it was like a routine like plastic surgery or something. Yeah. And she died on the operating table because of the anesthesia they gave her, as I understand it. That seemed allegedly that seemed a little too coincidental. So yeah, and my overall take on this is, you know, JD Vance, the origin story of JD Vance, the ties to Peter Thiel, all the stuff that Chris talks about, I think is extremely valid, and I'm not ready to anoint anybody like the successor of President Trump. We are so far away from that moment of like deciding what happens next. We have too much to accomplish. However, I do see like when President Trump picks his vice presidents, I mean, Mike Pence served a role in the first administration. I mean, now it seems like he was deep state. I mean, who knows? But in the first administration, he was very effective at going out and addressing all the criticisms that were mostly coming from like the evangelical crowd about how Trump like wasn't a real Christian and all this stuff. He was very articulate in like addressing the Republican voter base who were very skeptical of Trump and didn't want to support him initially. And being able to go into those spaces and like and be comfortable in his own shoes and articulate and deal with all the criticisms. I thought that was somebody has to go do that because it, you know, that whole element is there, and Trump has more important things to do. Like Trump has more important things to do addressing that. I mean, the fact that JD Vance and, you know, the vice president, we can all debate like the importance of the vice presidency. I mean, the scope of work that they're handed generally, like historically, they're not that important. I mean, they like the jobs that they are given are really, a lot of it is ceremonial, a lot of it is figurehead stuff. Yes, they're one heartbeat away from becoming president, but outside of that, you know, their scope of responsibility is relatively insignificant compared to what the president does. So one thing that JD Vance does very well is he's very articulate. He's very good at engaging with these sort of moments and counteracting these arguments. I don't have the patience for this stuff. I think these people are all low IQ and are not worth our time, but I recognize that there are large segments of the population who are interested in this kind of stuff, and they do want to hear these arguments hashed out. And frankly, there will come a point in time once we're done with, you know, the shock trooper phase of this, which is what Trump is. Trump's very much a shock trooper in his shock and awe, you know, delivery. And we're going to look at that here in a second. Being able to circle back and articulate yourself and be very highly articulate, which Trump is very articulate in his own way, but being able to get into the weeds and like deal with every single little point and defeat them at their own game. There is something to be said about that. And not giving them any safe spaces to go fester in, where like the View has always been like the safe space where they go and they fester and they create these little moments, these little sound bites that are then taken by the rest of the mainstream media and run with, to go in there and the Lion's Den and be able to, you know, make them look like fools. There's something to that. So I will say that more and more it's clear why JD Vance was selected to be the vice president at the television character in this moment. Doesn't mean anything moving forward, post Trump. I mean, given what we've seen with Mike Pence, but I now understand way more why these characters were selected to be in these roles, regardless of what their true intent is and where their hearts actually lie.
And that is a great segue to my final clip that I want to play. You are correct. President Trump has way better things to do than engage in any of this nonsense. We all have way better things to do than watch The View. But unfortunately, this next clip is from CNN, and Anna Navarro is in it still. So it's kind of like View light. But this will be the last story, and then I'll transition to you to do the geopolitics stuff.
You have to love your country, whether or not you lost the last election. I love America. And, according to some polling that came out this weekend, most Republicans love America. 90% are very proud to be Americans. They're proud of living in this country. Unfortunately, I think Mr. De Niro's comments are pretty indicative of a majority of Democrats who can't seem to find that attitude, which I applaud, inside them to love your country, even though you lost the last election. And, loving America, being a patriot for America, feeling good about America shouldn't be dictated by whether you won or lost. When I hear De Niro, I hear him saying, I can only love America if we win every election from here on out. That's a rather fascist statement.
I think he was really saying that I don't love an America that doesn't do the things that I think it should be doing. And look, I understand.
So would he think any Republican would do that?
Well, look, I mean, this is why I think.
But just add a little bit of a little bit of numbers and data.
Can you believe that gay man just spoke over that black woman? Holy shit.
Scott's numbers. Gallup polling data from 25 years ago says Republicans were 90% proud or extremely proud to be Americans. Democrats were 87%. Today, 25 years later, those numbers remain at 92%, actually up a little bit for Republicans. For Democrats, they're down to 36%. Robert De Niro's views are not out of step with the median Democrat.
They hate America.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've been very clear about that for the past 10 plus years. Like they've been very open about the fact that they hate America and they hate Americans.
Yeah.
And so it couldn't be more clear.
Absolutely. All right. Geopolitics. To give you a chance to set up, we are going to remind everybody really quick that Friday is Juneteenth.
Everybody saved. Everybody. Even me.
Especially you.
You mean I just have to use a promo code to get the discount?
Phoebe truly is an idiot.
Hi, fellas. What year is it?
Soft disclosures for everybody.
Softdisclosure.com. Use promo code Juneteenth. Also, make sure that you are signed up for the email updates. We have exclusive discounts, product information, reviews, all kinds of cool stuff happening in the emails. You will be a Soft Disclosure insider once you sign up for the emails, and you're going to want to. If you love the products, I love the products. The lotion, Brian, I talked about this last night. Beard oil is his favorite product. Lotion, definitely my favorite product. What's your favorite product?
They're great. Yeah. The deodorant I've been using is really good.
Fantastic.
So,
softdisclosure.com, promo code Juneteenth. All right. Somebody in the chat said Juneteenth is BS. I don't think Juneteenth is BS. It was the day in Texas that in Texas the slaves heard that they were free. They hadn't heard it took months. They hadn't heard the Emancipation Proclamation. That was the moment that everybody had learned that the slaves were freed. I think the way that it's been weaponized and used to create a bunch of noise is a problem. But I don't believe that that the
Yeah.
holiday itself, that the memorial on that date itself is meaningless. I think it's extremely meaningful. I also think it's notable. We were talking about this yesterday. Like, should we decode that the Iran agreement is set to be signed on Juneteenth?
You brought that to the attention in the Badlands chat, and I hadn't even made that connection that Friday is Juneteenth because, again, I just don't track that kind of stuff, like the woke stuff. But that is a great point that Juneteenth this year is going to be overshadowed by Trump coming out and reading. I mean, every single news outlet is going to be running with that as opposed to Juneteenth. Juneteenth is going to be completely forgotten because of Trump coming out and reading that. I mean, as far as decoding it,
or reinforced.
Well, I guess it depends on how this all plays out, but I do think it is like a funny coincidence. I don't think that's the reason that Trump picked that day. It could be like maybe Friday versus Saturday or Thursday, but like I think the significance of delaying the release of this language is allowing the traitors and infiltrators in MAGA to spin out over it.
A lot of that.
The anxiety, they don't know what's in it, and they're all spinning out and freaking out and turning on Trump preemptively without even really knowing what is in the deal.
So before you go in, because I feel like you're segueing into your segment, and we have one more sponsor. So I'm going to go ahead and read our one more sponsor, and then I will shut up and let you, because I took way more than my own time. We hear a lot about crypto, but here's the part that most people miss. Crypto was created so you could actually own and control your money. After the 2008 financial crisis, Bitcoin was designed as an alternative to banks. So instead of a bank holding your money, delaying transfers, or limiting access, you are in control. And if you've ever had to wait for a transfer to clear, you felt that problem. Now, fast forward to today, everyone's heard of crypto, but getting started still feels complicated. That's why I use Rumble Wallet. I really do. I do use it. It takes all that complexity and makes it simple. Choose what you want: Bitcoin, dollar-backed stable coins, or even digital gold backed by real gold. No complicated setup. It connects with MoonPay, so you can use your credit card, debit card, or bank and be up and running in minutes. Once you're set up, you can even support your favorite Rumble creators like Ghost or me directly. So, or even Brian, whose show this is. So do this now. Scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description and download Rumble Wallet. From there, you can set up your wallet, tap buy, and you're in the game. In just a few minutes, you can go from hearing about crypto to actually owning some. So there you have it, guys. All right. Rumble Wallet. We love it. We use it. Get yours today. Ghost, tell us about the foreigners.
Okay, so let's start, just because this is relevant to what we were just discussing with JD Vance and Peter Thiel. French spy agency ditches Palantir. So France's DGSI will switch to a homemade alternative produced by Chaps Vision. This is their domestic spy agency. It says that the Palantir has said that the change won't happen for years. This is a video statement released on Tuesday. The French Prime Minister, Sebastien, I think it's Lecornu, said that the General Directorate for Internal Security had hired a French firm to replace the American giant Palantir. And what makes this significant is, Palantir, there's a lot of concern about what Palantir is and where it's going. And it basically, it probably already has in a lot of ways taken over the world. But seeing the diversification of this, where it appears that their market share is shrinking, is definitely a good thing. Because Palantir, of course, has been linked to AI and warfare, like selecting targets. What's his name? This clown down here with the goofy hair. He's talked about how they use that in Gaza. They allowed the IDF to select targets using it. I mean, that's scary stuff.
Alex Karp,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you want to talk about an issue that gets the youth riled up: the level of centralized control of Palantir in American affairs. Yeah,
so I mean, ideally, this stuff doesn't happen at all, like the technocracy, but at the very least, the losing market share, Palantir losing market share, I think is definitely a net positive in the right direction.
Look at the framing of that first paragraph. France says we're getting off of Palantir, and Palantir's like, that's not going to happen for years.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but it's notable that this gets announced like the day after Trump arrives in France and meets with Macron, right? And then this gets announced. I mean, the timing of all this is interesting because there's been a lot of concern and a lot of anxiety over the relationship between Palantir and the Trump administration because of JD Vance and because of a lot of the people around, in Trump's orbit and, the contracts that have been awarded to Palantir. So again, like there might be some signal here. We don't want to read into it too much, but it's just worth pointing out. And then that takes us to this story. EU and US spy agencies buying personal data for surveillance. Intelligence services reportedly spend millions on commercially available data sets gathered through the advertising industry. Now, I think this story is nonsense because I think that data that is quote unquote commercially available and made commercially available by advertising industry was originally created by the spy agencies.
Oh, sure.
Like, I think
the ability to gather that data. We're creating the data. Right.
Yeah. Like we're like every time you go to a web
consumption, our eyeballs, our
Yeah.
thumbs, we're creating our movements because our devices track all our movements and listen to our conversation. We're creating the data, but the mechanism to be able to capture it, distill it, gain insight from it, run predictive analytics on it, you're spot on that.
This is like saying the IRS is going out and purchasing commercially available tax record data from, it's like that just doesn't make any sense. Like they would be the ones producing that data for, the commercial industry. So to me, this is more of like a soft disclosure of, to bring eyeballs to this and get people riled up, which hopefully, it will, because
Softdisclosure.com, promo code Juneteenth.
Because obviously the whole technocracy thing is real. You have always talked about, as long as I've known you, the right to data, right, and protecting data.
Data freedom.
We
should own it. We should own our data because it's an intimate extension of ourselves. Right now, it's the Wild West. We have no rights to it at all.
Yeah,
Find it away by using the device.
And General Quast has talked about, quantum and how maybe quantum encryption could help with that, among other things, and creating that kind of security. So hopefully we'll see those developments occur. But I think, again, keeping it in the zeitgeist, keeping people talking about it, keeping the Overton window focused on it to some extent is important. So, this, again, the headline here is very silly. It doesn't make any sense other than just for it to be a soft disclosure of something. And then here's just one last story connected to that. Musk's Grok AI helped fire 2,000 missiles at Iran, according to the Pentagon. Read into that whatever you will, but it says Stanley revealed that Cameron Stanley, the chief digital and artificial intelligence officer at the U.S. Department of War, compared XAI's computing capacity to weapons manufacturing, saying the company's ability to operate data facilities at massive scale is as foundational to our modern defense posture as traditional munitions production. Stanley revealed that Grok is a crucial part of Palantir-developed Maven smart systems, a platform that supports targeting, intelligence, readiness, and recruitment, as well as military planning and logistics. So that just feeds into what I was just talking about with Gaza, and now we're talking about Iran. So again, just keeping the focus on this and being cognizant of it. There's probably a element of inevitability here where AI being involved in just decision-making and analytics in general, not just in warfare, but across all industries, is a reality that we're just going to have to cope with. And again, having control over this and making sure this isn't centralized into the hands of a few, so it can be weaponized against the rest of us, is where the conversation should focus, as opposed to the prevention of this occurring, because there's no putting the genie back in the bottle, right? That's like preventing like the invention of the airplane because you didn't like what the Wright brothers were doing. Okay,
or just because you didn't like the Wright brothers, and
exactly.
The way they looked, didn't like that they were the ones you thought it should have been you or something. That's the kind of nonsense we're dealing with.
Yeah, exactly. Well said. All right, so let's now talk about the G7, because that's underway.
Do you have the leak of the Iran deal?
I don't. If you want to go grab it, I think it's bullshit. Like I don't think it's real. But
CNN we talked to you and I talked about it briefly last night. CNN is apparently reporting it now, so I'll grab it for you.
Yeah, grab it. Go ahead and grab it. While we do that, I'll just run through some clips
Yep.
here. So we have President Trump walking into the meeting. It was either yesterday or maybe this morning, and doing this again. We're talking about the whimsical nature of President Trump, contrasted with JD Vance on The View just now.
Well, hello. I'm the boss. How are you? Good, thank you. Thank you, dear colleagues. Would you like to stay for the meeting? Yes. It's okay with me.
So like Trump walks in, he stands in front of the whole room, he says, "I'm the boss." And then he asks, I think it's the media, like, "Do y'all want to stay and hang out for the meeting?" Transparency, right? Transparency. We've seen Trump do this with the cabinet meetings, inviting the media in to sit in on the cabinet meetings just to create more transparency. It's very clear that Trump does not view the G7 as significant, because all of his meetings so far, like he met with Macron, and as I said on my show yesterday, I think his meeting with Macron first is just decorum. Like, you're going to France. France is hosting everybody. The appropriate thing to do is to go meet with the leader of France, right? Who's inviting you into his country. So he went and met with Macron publicly. It was a public meeting, and that's where we got those first clips of him talking about Israel, talking about Hezbollah, talking about Iran and the Strait of Hormuz. We also got this from Mark Carney. He, like, kind of in a passing comment, he said G7 no longer runs the world. He says, quote, "It's a
G2.
recognition that what's this?"
I said G2.
Yeah, right. So Prime Minister Mark Carney of Canada said the presence of countries such as India at the gathering of the world's most advanced economies and democracies highlights the G7's acknowledgement of the need for a wider global perspective. Quote, "It's a recognition that the G7, if it ever did run the world, no longer runs the world or pretends to." So this is just like more, and it's funny because Mark Carney.
Don't you think they still pretend to?
Well, they definitely still pretend to. And for those interested, the G7 is Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the UK, and the US, in addition to the EU. It used to be the G8 with Russia, but Hillary Clinton kicked them out. I think it was Hillary Clinton and John Kerry and Obama kicked them out. But yeah, basically these are the people who meet and then set the economic agenda for the world. Not unlike the World Economic Forum, this is just kind of like the public-facing side. The World Economic Forum at Davos is supposed to be closed doors. This is like the public-facing side of that, with all the puppets and the television characters. Trump has basically signaled what Carney is saying here. And this is, by the way, a replay of what Carney said at the World Economic Forum earlier this year. I think it was this year. It was either this year or last year. Maybe it was last year, where they went to Davos and Carney was just saying how it was this year. How the world is changing, the multipolar world is rising, and that nationalism is returning, and that posture needs to be adopted by all the countries. Countries need to be self-interested as opposed to like looking to a centralized authority to tell them what to do. So to that point, Trump has met with a bunch of world leaders. He's only met with non-G7 countries. So he's met with the Gulf Arab states. He's met with Qatar, UAE. I haven't seen a Saudi meeting, but I have seen an Egypt meeting. He met with Sisi. And then he's also met with Modi from India. So he is not going to France and meeting with, the members of the G7. He's meeting with what are referred to as the observing attendees. So the people who are invited to attend, but they're not part of the G7, right? They're on the outside looking in, and that's just signal that Trump is like affirming what Carney is saying there. Here's Zelensky walking in, because of course Zelensky was invited to this thing. Here's Zelensky walking in, and look how Trump treats him. We'll turn the music off. But look at Zelensky's face. Zelensky goes in for the handshake. Trump just turns around and walks away, disrespects him, doesn't even acknowledge he's there, and Zelensky just just looks like dead inside.
It's what we all want. And so I really love that for Zelensky.
Yeah, of course, Marco Rubio dabs him up and
Give
gives him
us
a hug.
credit.
Yeah, of course, Marco Rubio is dabbing him up and giving him a hug, but Marco Rubio is the closest thing that we have to a deep state television character in the administration.
You see the polling that shows that he's favored to beat JD Vance now. He's overtaken JD Vance in the 28 polls.
That isn't surprising at all.
Also, polls are fake, but
Yeah.
the story, the narrative that they're used to drive is fun to look at.
So we looked at some of the clips yesterday that came out of his meeting with Tamim from Qatar and his meeting with MBZ, Mohammed bin Zayed from the UAE. So here's his meeting with Sisi, General Sisi. And for those who aren't familiar with Sisi,
before you move on, can we just say one more thing about the Zelensky thing?
Yeah.
So that's exactly what he deserves. Remember that White House meeting? Like, how can Trump be disrespecting this hero in Zelensky? He's been holding us hostage since 2022. And that meeting was like the third or fourth one where he showed up and was going to sign and then threw a little temper tantrum like a child. And so President Trump turning his back on him is the nicest thing he deserves.
Yeah. Are you referring to the G7 meeting from 2 years ago?
I'm referring to the White House video of Trump and Zelensky where JD Vance stepped in as the hero and was like,
Yes. Yep. Last year. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So Sisi, 2011, the Arab Spring happens, right? This was the State Department funded Muslim Brotherhood overthrow of like every Arab government in the Middle East, or the attempted overthrow. Egypt is one of the places where it succeeded. The Muslim Brotherhood took over. A guy named Morsi became president. And then 3 years later, a counterinsurgency was launched. The U.S. military, in conjunction with some other partners in the region, the counterinsurgency was led by an Egyptian general named El-Sisi, and he is now the president. He's been the president ever since. This happened, I believe, in 2013, 2014, maybe sometime around that time frame. So Sisi is there's mixed signal on him. Like, some people view him as a Western puppet. Some people view him as, the answer to the Muslim Brotherhood, but he threw all the Muslim Brotherhood people in prison. And then the guy Morsi actually had a heart attack in court while he was facing, in 2019, when he was like facing the charges of treason. He had a heart attack right there in the middle of on television in front of everybody and died. So here's Trump's meeting with Sisi, and this is probably the most notable exchange, but listen to this.
A friend of mine from day one, I met him early in the campaign when Crooked Hillary and I were running against each other, right? And I was told that the president of Egypt is here. That was a big deal. It's still a big deal for me to be with the great president of Egypt, but not as big as it used to be before I ran. So he was in a hotel and I met him. And we fell in love, deeply in love. A friend of mine from day one.
Yeah. So there you go.
How dare you?
Yeah. I mean, this is Trump, I think, trolling the Zionists, because Egypt is on the short list of targets for Israel right now. The next two targets are purportedly Turkey and Egypt. Egypt seems far more likely because of the Sinai Peninsula and taking control of that. Whereas Turkey is more of like, they view as an aggressor that they want to deal with. And Turkey, of course, being involved in Syria, having troops on the ground in Syria, having troops in Gaza as part of the International Stabilization Force. But there's actually territory from Egypt that they want as part of their Greater Israel project. Yep. So here is another clip, the other viral clip from this exchange. And let's watch this one.
The agreement now final, or are you still? No, it's not final. It's a memorandum of understanding, and if I don't like it, we'll go back to
pause it for a second.
Shooting at them, dropping bombs on their head.
So we don't have to cover the CNN leak of the MOU. The White House has come out and said the language in what they're reporting does not reflect the language of the MOU. So they're just full of shit.
Actually, I apologize. Yeah. So it's and that is what the consistent language is here, is that you're getting all these reports. Like, I think Bloomberg came out with one version of it. And I think this is like the Zionist. This is like Mossad media basically trying to cloud the conversation. They're trying to put out rhetoric.
Yeah,
So-
it's flooding the
so
zone
in-
with noise. And what's going to happen is that the watchers of CNN, people that actually watch CNN or Bloomberg for their news, and they believe that they're being told the truth by those television characters that are telling them stories, they're whatever is in there, they're always going to believe that that is what the MOU says, no matter if President Trump said, I don't want it to be spun, I'm going to come out and actually read, I might just read the whole thing, right? We might just read the whole MOU. They can do that. They can read it. They can show the signatures. Those CNN viewers will still believe whatever CNN reports. It's very fine people all over again.
Yeah, it's extremely subversive. And Trump came out over the weekend and said, do not believe anything coming out. He blamed Iranian media. He's like, this is Iranian media doing this. But I think that's just his way of
A euphemism for CNN.
A euphemism for, just really Mossad media. But I actually want to play this longer clip of what just happened, because this one is a little more telling. But this is the same clip we just watched, but a longer version. Why is it? What is happening here?
Oh.
Here we go.
Support Egypt rights, water security.
Well, that's what we're going to be talking about. You don't listen.
How and when?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Of course, I support Egypt. He's a friend of mine from day one. I met him early in the campaign when Crooked Hillary and I were running against each other, right? And I was told that the president of Egypt is here. That was a big deal. It's still a big deal for me to be with the great president of Egypt, but not as big as it used to be before I ran. So he was in a hotel and I met him. And we fell in love, deeply in love. And he didn't even want to see Hillary. He said, you're going to win. I don't want to meet her. He said, you're going to win. He didn't want to see her. Remember that? So we had a good relationship right from the beginning. No, we met. We didn't know each other before that. We had great chemistry. And I stayed twice as long as I was supposed to, took up her time. And then when it was her time, he didn't want to meet with her. But he did because he's a gentleman, but it lasted about 1 minute. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, so that's just Trump being Trump. I mean, Trump just because he lobs these grenades in there. That goes viral because he said we fell in love. Like that goes viral. But then he throws in the jab, being like, yeah, Cece didn't even want to meet with Hillary because she's such a loser.
Yeah, you know what's interesting is on the View thing with JD Vance yesterday, he was asked about a statement that he made about the lonely cat lady thing. Right. But back when he made the lonely cat lady statement, and JD Vance's response was, listen, I get that, you don't like what I said, but did it get people talking about the phenomenon? Right. Did it get people focused on this specific issue, this specific story, and kind of confirming, he's trying to learn to be more like Trump. After that Zelensky meeting, I actually kind of felt like that's what they were doing, was he was getting on the job training. JD Vance was. I've kind of backed off that theory that JD Vance is going to be the next president. Maybe, but a lot of issues there.
Yeah, too early to call that, and too early to discuss. I think people are trying to put the cart before the horse here. All right, so I just want to play the response from Cece, because I think it's important to hear these Muslim leaders talk about the guy who 10 years ago was saying we're not going to allow any Muslims into America. We're on a war against Islam, all that stuff, and then immediately got the sword dance in Saudi Arabia.
Right.
I don't know if they have English overdubs.
For the record, again, Mr. President, I cannot overemphasize how much respect I have for you, for your understanding of the challenging issue of the dam to Egypt.
Yeah, so just expressing his respect, admiration for Trump, which he's done before in public settings. And then this is the other viral clip regarding Iran. And this is a correction to the take I had yesterday. I'm going to have to adjust that take a little bit. Let's listen to it and then we'll talk about it. This is the question about what if Iran doesn't hold true to the MOI or the forthcoming negotiation for phase 2.
The agreement now final, or are you still?
No, it's not final. It's a memorandum of understanding. And if I don't like it, we'll go back to shooting at them, dropping bombs on their head.
When do you expect this?
If I don't like it, if they don't behave, we'll go right back to dropping bombs right smack in the middle of their head. Okay? Because they've misbehaved for 47 years. All right?
Does it include?
But nobody could have made this deal.
Okay, so to be clear, JD Vance says that they signed an electronic version of this deal on Sunday. That was signed on Sunday. Trump has confirmed that. And then they're supposed to be meeting, I believe, on Friday, is my understanding, to sign a like in person, sign the actual deal. So Trump already knows what's in the memorandum of understanding. That's been accepted. What he's referring to here is phase 2, because the memorandum of understanding is supposed to set up a 60-day period where they then negotiate the particulars as it relates to, like the nuclear dust and the nuclear program and all that stuff. The other details, how does this thing look long term? How does the Strait of Hormuz look? Here is Ben Shapiro freaking out. Now, to adjust my take from yesterday, I thought that maybe we had turned the corner and Trump was done threatening Iran. I think we're still kind of
doing this to us.
Well, I think we're in that little grace period, because I mentioned yesterday how there was like a 1-week period after we arrested Maduro, we captured Maduro, where Trump had moments like that. He was saying nice things about Venezuela, but he was like, if Venezuela doesn't go along with what we want them to do, we'll go right back in there and we'll have our war. They better comply. And then after about like a week, he stopped saying that kind of stuff and just started talking about Venezuela being a great ally. So I think we're still kind of in that grace period. I think this deal is going to go through, like the memorandum of understanding, and then we're going to start this negotiation. And this is going to cause the spin out of like the deep state and the uniparty. Here is Ben Shapiro freaking out. I'm not going to play the 3-minute clip, but
don't let this detract you from hitting the like button, guys. Please hit the like button, even though Ghost is about to make you listen to Ben Shapiro. Smash the like for us. We appreciate it. Also, drop into the chat and just do a quick hi, drop a period, say hello. Unique chatters is a metric that helps us. We certainly do appreciate it.
I'm actually going to spare everybody the sound of Ben Shapiro's voice. I'm just going to read the quotes from the video. He says,
"We really want your likes."
Yeah, Mohammed Ghalibaf, who's the head of the Iranian parliament, he's the guy who signed it on behalf of Iran. Will apparently on Friday be literally in a photo op with Vice President. I cannot express to you how stomach turning that is. I don't care who the Vice President is. I don't care who the President is. If Israel is not a signatory to the agreement, how in the world could you tie Israel's hands when it comes to self-defense? This is not a popular MOU in Israel. And that's been very clearly expressed across social media and across the information battle space. Just the absolute freak out, the spin out, the chimp out by the Zionists over what may or what may not be in the deal. And I think this is part of the strategy of like delaying this, because there really is no reason to delay this. JD Vance was even asked about this. I actually think I have that clip. JD Vance was asked about this by Megyn Kelly, where he was asked, why are we delaying like the release of this? And here's what he says.
You have 3 minutes remaining, by the way.
Okay, well, we might go a minute over, but that's okay. He says, I have the actual clip. Let me pull it up. I have two more clips I want to play. This one and then the dust clip, and then we'll move out of here. All right. This one is low resolution, but that's all right.
Deal.
I wonder why he doesn't call it the Trump deal.
I wonder too. There is Ben Domenech, who was on special report last night, called this a hillbilly Obama deal.
I wonder who that's a reference to.
Seems to be a shot at you, sir. Not bold foreign policy. There's a guy named Yanan Magal, who is an Israeli journalist who's very close to Netanyahu, who is basically his mouthpiece, who it called you a lowlife, called Donald Trump a loser. The Israeli ambassador to the United States called this so disappointing. Then there's Mark Levin, been rage tweeting about it every 5 minutes. He demands to see the memorandum. He demands that this be treated like a treaty, to where now you have to get congressional approval for the MOU. The Constitution does say you need approval to declare war, which Trump doesn't think he did and didn't seek. But now, and he defended him on that. But now that we're ending it, which you definitely don't need congressional approval for, he wants this treated like a treaty and is demanding you go before Congress, sir.
Well, to be clear, I don't think that congressional approval was required. I really firmly do believe that the president, was never a full-scale war in the conventional or legal sense of it. So we definitely made sure that we dotted our I's and crossed our T's here. So I wanted to defend the administration on that point. But it is kind of ironic that They're really, really worried about stopping this thing, but they were completely gung-ho about starting this thing. And look, I want to be responsive and charitable to some of these concerns. So first of all, why do they believe Iranian propaganda only about one thing, the peace deal? They don't seem to believe Iranian propaganda, rightfully so, about anything else.
Yeah.
So if you're in the position of endorsing Iranian propaganda only when it's related to this peace deal, then maybe you should check yourself a little bit and question your sources. The second thing that I'd say is, what is their alternative? If you look today, Brent crude is around $78 a barrel. West Texas crude is even lower, $75, $73 a barrel. I mean, the numbers float around a little bit. But what that means is lower gas prices for Americans, lower energy costs for Americans. That means that this little blip that we've had of an increase in energy costs, which has caused a lot of people some problems, we're now getting back to normal. And I think that fundamentally, if you look at what they're proposing an endless conflict. They want this to go on until every bomb has been dropped or until every Iranian is dead. That is not what the president of the United States wants. What he said is, I said about this to end their nuclear program, to eliminate their ability to threaten their neighbors and project power, and to fundamentally make sure that no future child would have to deal with a terrorist regime with an atomic bomb. That's why the president set out to do this. He feels, and he's right, that he's accomplished that goal, and now we can get to the negotiation to see what are the other benefits that we can get from this, and frankly, what are the benefits the Iranians could get from this if they behave. I just don't think that people who are criticizing this, one, they're not actually dealing with the reality of what's in it, and number two, they don't have an alternative. If your alternative is just to drop bombs without any clear goal or any clear American interest implicated, then you're not making the wise decisions on behalf of the American people. The president is, and that's why we're in this position.
Yeah, and so the other clip that wasn't included in that one was he was asked why is it being delayed, and he says, well, it has to do with sequencing from the Arab side, the Arab world, and they want this done in a certain way. I don't actually even fully understand why we're delaying it. I'm not going to pretend to, but that's my understanding is that's to do with what the Arabs have asked us to do. Again, it doesn't really make any sense. He doesn't even understand it. I think this is a psyop by Trump.
This reminds me of, and he was on The View, and there was a couple moments during the interview of him on The View where he was like interpreting Trump. Well, here's what he really meant, right? I don't like that. I think he's using many words, and I think he's appeasing certain audiences, like Disimpians, that don't need to be appeased. They need to have their noses rubbed in it. So I don't like that.
I would agree with that. Like, that kind of language is not I definitely don't like that. What I did like about what we just saw is that he is addressing all of the points that were brought against the administration at the beginning of this whole conflict. Like, what's the objective here? What's the end game? Why are we just dropping bombs without like a clear objective, right? Because we were flip-flopping on, like, is it regime change? What are the goals? Basically what we've watched happen is we've seen this narrative weapon ripped away from the neocons, where Iran is no longer going to be a threat. The nuclear program is no longer going to be a threat. We're going to make friends with them just like we did with Venezuela. And they aren't going to be able to hold this over everybody's head and say, here's why we have to have like a huge military presence in the Middle East. We have to defend Israel no matter what. This is being ripped away from them in real time. And they recognize this, and that's why they're freaking out about it. That's why Ben Shapiro is freaking out about it.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the message. I have somewhat of a problem with the messenger, but we got to move along. So
last one, just to like put a fine point on that. And by the way, I deeply hope that we're going to get a photo op between whoever from the administration and whoever from Iran. I hope Trump invites the Ayatollah to the White House along with Kim Jong-un and Putin, and we have a world peace summit. That would be fantastic, just for the memes.
But if he invited the Ayatollah to California for a visit instead, the Ayatollah could get a small business loan.
That would be fantastic, and then we could put him on the registry for being gay.
Exactly. That's how he gets the loan. That was the.
I like that even better. I like that even better. All right, so this is a 30-second clip. Let's watch this. We'll wrap it up.
So the Atomic Energy just reported that it was one of the most devastating bombings that they've ever seen. The whole mountain collapsed on top of it. And frankly, to go get it, we're going to go get it. but to go get it is a big deal because they say only China and us have the equipment where you can even get. The whole mountain is collapsed on top. We have cameras on it. You could make the case, why are you even bothering? Because it's not really valuable. It's, you know, it's probably $500,000 worth. It's not very valuable stuff, but I think psychologically we want to get it.
Yeah, so he's talking about the nuclear dust. He's starting to walk back the idea that we're actually going to go physically possess the nuclear dust because it's just buried under a mountain. And like, what's the point? You know, it's totally invaluable now. Again, like this is going to trigger, like that clip right there is triggering the response of like, oh my God, we are capitulating. We're not doing what we said we're going to do. There's a lot of like misinformation about the $300 billion that's coming from U.S. taxpayers. It's coming from the Gulf states. There's not going to be one penny put out by the U.S. When it comes to rebuilding Iran. But this, again, the whole thing is being disarmed. The bomb, the narrative bomb that is a potential conflict with Iran or them nuking the West, Israel, whoever, that whole bomb is being disarmed right now in real time. And that is why the deep state, the uniparty, the Zionists, the neocons are freaking out about this. They see it happening in real time and they're trying to stop it.
Yeah, and dismantling the narrative power of the Iranian threat in the region. If they can actually resolve that story, and I'm not talking about, you know, Top Gun Maverick style missions. I'm not talking about boots on the ground. Largely talking about through negotiation and the process of diplomacy. Take that narrative power away. I think we're looking at golden age kind of stuff. Yeah. But the reason that the warmongers are freaking out is because peace in the Middle East is a big threat to their power base.
Absolutely.
So we'll see what happens. We have a few Rumble rants. The Meerkat says, if I can convince my wife to self-identify as a man, would that count? I could save my business. I think it's worth a shot.
That's 5D chess. I love the way that's the kind of innovative thinking that we need in the golden age.
Yeah. Yeah, we will report that for you so you can use our reporting as your source of authenticity. So just let us know.
Meerkat's wife is a man. I just want to put that on the record. And now you can now use that to get a small business loan in California.
RT Jones says, tell Green Star we want lily pad in the next ad. I know that Green Star is always watching because anytime I mention him, I get a DM. I'm always watching. But yeah, that would be fun. Be fun to have lily pad in a soft disclosure ad. 88 Sats and EC was here, rated the stream. Thank you guys so much. 88 Sats has rated our choice stream a few times. Like those guys, they always bring fun into the chat. And then Huck Fillery, feel free to dump all over me, but I'm ignorant as to why Teal Palantir is so evil. Teal and DJT are pretty tight too. So why is Vance some demonic apprentice for taking Teal's money and help? My issue with Palantir is that I think that they are subversively building a surveillance state under the guise of sort of a Christian nationalism type of messaging platform, but doing so through deception and storytelling. And I don't care who he's friends with. I think we need to fight the surveillance state. I think it is a violation of the Constitution, and I think it will. This will be a pivotal moment that our great grandchildren will look back on and wonder what we did.
Yeah. I think skepticism is always healthy. You should never criticize skepticism in all things especially when it comes to politics. I would encourage you to go look up the commentary of Peter Thiel as it relates to religion, the Antichrist, that sort of thing. And as it relates to like his view on life and the world and society in general, and whether specifically he was asked, should humans survive and exist in the future? And he pauses for like 20 seconds before he answers. I would also encourage you to go look up Alex Karp's commentary. He's the Palantir guy.
He's even weirder.
Yeah, and the manifesto specifically of how he sees the future, it's techno-fascism. So that's why we have skepticism about these people, because they're openly talking about a techno-fascist future and how it's going to be wonderful for all of us. So
Just
yeah,
read 1984 and Brave New World, and you'll see why we're concerned about this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty nice prophecies. All right. If you enjoy the dynamic, you can catch Ghost and I on Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern time. We talk about Jesus on that show and the life and ministry of Jesus Christ, and the show The Chosen. We also go off on really weird tangents and rabbit holes that have nothing to do with the show, but it's all good fun. And also, you should be paying attention to the Badlands Substack, where Ghost and I are both contributors, along with Burning Bright. Every single day, Monday through Friday, we put out the Badlands Brief. And then on Saturday mornings at, I think it's also 11 a.m. Eastern time. I think I always get this wrong, though. Maybe it's 10. Sometime in the morning on Saturdays, the show, The Blitz, drops, where two of us, sometimes it's me and Burning Bright, sometimes it's Burning Bright and Ghost, sometimes it's Ghost and me. We go through the news, the intention is to go through the news of the week. Usually we end up, ranting about one topic for an hour, but it's a lot of fun. You can only watch that show on Substack. So make sure you are signed up for the Badlands Substack, badlands.substack.com. And then lastly, before we get out of here, next week, it's next week. Can you believe it? Next week, we will be in Deadwood, South Dakota, June 25th through the 28th. Badlands Media is heading back to Deadwood, South Dakota for the 12th stop on the Great American Restoration Tour. Whether you're attending impersonally, don't attend impersonally. Be personable when you are attending. Whether you're attending in person or virtually, a GART veteran or a GART virgin, there's something for everyone. Merch packages are also available for in-person and virtual ticket holders. Get your GART 12 tickets today at badlandsmedia.tv/events. We're going to have so much fun. Absolutely cannot wait for next week. And our third live stream is tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. You can help us shape the panels. You get access to those, whether you have in-person tickets or virtual tickets. It's going to be a blast, guys. America 250, Freedom 250, America Rising. We're all going to be red, white, and blue. I don't know what the guys are wearing, but I can tell you the girls, we're all going to be red, white, and blue all weekend long, celebrating the greatest nation in the history of Earth. So that's the show we have for you guys today. Please make sure you hit the like button, buy yourself some soft disclosure, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much for joining us, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up on this video. And a special thank you to all of our advertising partners. Please remember to shift your dollars to support those businesses that support Badlands Media.